shoe and all the ones that I haven't been able to wear for 2 months. So it's good. Good to talk some Army football and talk about beating the crap out of Navy or Air Force.
Both of them.
Yeah, there you go.
And the other voice you heard is former Army long snapper and sprint football player Jeff Johnson, who is he's subbing and filling in tonight for the human Ouija board Steve Cripey, who is off with his lovely bride celebrating their 37th wedding anniversary. So, Jeff, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming tonight, Jeff.
All right. Appreciate you guys having me. Happy anniversary to Steve and his bride.
Well, normally you're out gallivanting around the countryside, so we were lucky to catch you at home one time. And by the way, just before I forget it, the great sponsor of our show tonight is Brian Hamaker and North Alabama Mortgage. You can reach them at northalabamamortgage.com. They can help with any financial need you have regarding a house. They can walk you through the whole mortgage process. If you want to cash out your house and put your kid through school or buy a bass boat or buy a big Texas pickup truck like Colonel Tom drives around, Brian can help you with that too. And again, it's northalabamamortgage.com, and we appreciate.
I'll just say Brian gets his money worth when you when you make that advertisement there.
Yeah, he really does. Well, folks, listen. Just for a little bit, I know that game is way in the rearview mirror, but we played Wake Forest to a 70-56 loss. And Wake Forest beat Duke this week 45-0, and they're in the top 10.
Yeah, no, I think like I said, I think last time it was kind of a coming out party for Wake. I think they're a great football team. I think the real test will be when they play Clemson to see how well they do. But I think there's a good chance that they keep sneaking on up. I don't know that they make it to the playoffs, but they're going to get close.
Yeah.
They are going to get. Jeff, you were at that game, right?
Yeah, it was exciting. Obviously, I would have liked to seen us hold them a few times, but I love the way it seemed like the playbook was opened up on offense. We're getting the ball outside and doing some trapping, but it was a good game. Good game.
It was a good game, and next weekend we're going to need to open the playbook up a little bit also at the Lockheed Martin Commanders Classic, also known as the Army Air Force game. Did you guys know that was the name of the game?
No, but we were here, so we knew that you'd tell us.
Well, of course. Somebody's got to do some research around here. But
what's that?
Research? Who knows? Well, we do have a good show in store for you tonight at 7:15 or 19:15 for those of you who understand military time. We have Colonel Tom Hansbarger coming on, and one of the things we like to do on our show is not just talk about the West Point football side of things, but just the West Point side of things. And Colonel Tom, who is a real Colonel Tom, not like our imposter over here.
Yeah, do you know who I used to be?
Yeah, he used to be. He's the Colonel Fun at the Academy. That's what we call the Directorate of Cadet Activities. He plans all the activities and everything that goes on, all the concerts that I call. And Jeff, he's a friend of yours, right?
Yeah, we were teammates back in the day, in the early 90s. Tommy played halfback for Army football.
Did he actually play?
Oh, yeah. He was. You remember Mike Mayweather?
Yeah.
We played with Mike Mayweather.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
I watched him. And after we have Herr Oberst Hansbarger, we're going to have Conrad Crane, who is one of the blogger extraordinaires of Army football. He's got quite a following, and we'd love to get his insights and see. He can tell us if we're wearing an unlucky uniform or not this weekend.
Yeah, he'll hate the black helmets.
No, he does not like the black helmets. But guys, hey, we're 4-3 right now, and one of those losses I do believe was well deserved. Ball State, we did not play good. Wisconsin 20-14. We were in that game till the bitter end. And Wisconsin, by the way, we gained 197 yards rushing against Wisconsin, and they're still only allowing like 15, 20 yards a game against everybody else. So
yeah, I've been watching Wisconsin. I mean, their defense is still just as strong as number 5. He's an all-world linebacker too.
Oh yeah.
So would you say that was a moral victory with?
Well, I'll give you a Three Stooges answer.
Oh my God.
Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard. Mo asked Curly. He said, "Dr. Howard, what would you say? And he said, I wouldn't say yes, but I wouldn't say no. Would you say maybe? I might. So I might say that was a moral victory. But
no, I mean it's good to put, when you get a quality opponent, and we have to stretch to play with them. And we play with them. I mean, we'd like to win, but I think what you really look for, I think the measure of the program, is that we are competitive with a strong Power 5 team. And I think we were.
And think about where we've come from in the last 3 or 4 years, too, right? When you go to Ohio State, at least I'm thinking, just please don't get anybody hurt the rest of the season or minimize the injuries. And now you go into the big house in Ann Arbor, you go into Wisconsin. Coach Monken and the entire team are expecting to win the game.
Yeah, that's a
wherever,
huge
right?
culture change.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree.
It's awesome.
Well, Jeff, I remember also one more that we got to talk about. You had came over to my house. We didn't invite you, Tom.
Oh, yeah, that was a great game.
And Oklahoma.
That was a great game.
Oklahoma barely
That's
able to
because
find
I was at the game.
Oh, well, that's why we didn't invite you.
Bill had his scratchy – what was his scratchy stick or something?
No. It's a back scratcher.
Back scratcher.
A lucky back scratcher.
And that was working like a charm.
Yeah, must have dropped it in the fourth quarter.
I must have dropped it right at the fourth quarter. But the lucky back scratcher always comes in handy. So, essentially, the point you're making, I completely agree with. Every time in the last – well, actually, every time in the Monken era, when we have played a Power 5 school – we have held our own, almost beaten, take them to overtime, and same thing this year. Wake Forest is rocking and rolling, and we put 56 points on them. But one of my favorite stats is WATOP, wasted time of possession, and I think the Wake Forest game proved to me that time of possession is a highly overrated statistic. When you don't need a lot of time of possession. When you can score, they scored 70 points in 17 minutes?
Yeah, but look at what if we'd have given them 24 minutes?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so it was not – you can't think that – I mean, every first down that we get is another 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes that our defense is not on the field.
I think about Hawaii a few years ago. That quarterback was pretty solid. I have no idea if he even ever played in the NFL, but, we never stopped them essentially, and kind of like San Diego State in the bowl game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just
to me that's what I go back to. That's just a perfect Army football game because that guy had 270 yards rushing, scored every time he touched the ball, but we had more first downs than they had offensive plays, and he just didn't get the ball that much.
Yeah, that was Rashad Penny. He now plays for the Seattle Seahawks, as does.
Johnny Nation,
Johnny Radigan. So we got quite a few of them in the NFL right now, and we got some on this team that may go also.
Yeah.
So who knows? Well, who do you think on our team right now? I think Connor Bishop is an NFL prospect.
Nolan Cockrell.
And I think although he's not eligible for the draft yet, and you can't leave West Point early as a junior and go to the pros, but I do believe that Markel Broughton is he's a good football player.
Our punter is definitely going to get some looks.
Zach Harding, he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really good. Well, you guys, you're both going to the game this weekend, right?
We are.
If my flight doesn't get canceled, Tom's making me nervous now.
That's right.
Well, if you're flying on American Airlines, there's a good chance you may have to get a rent-a-car.
I was also hearing about all the air traffic controllers that are quitting because of the vaccine. So, not only American, it's going to be the whole infrastructure. It's going to be tough to fly.
Yeah.
Well, what is it that Sun Tzu or somebody said? May you be blessed to live in interesting times. Well, we're certainly living in some interesting times, and I'll tell you, for Army football, we're certainly living in interesting times. I know. Before the game, or not before, at our pre-show meal, Tom and I were talking about how we used to watch the West Point football games, and Tom would say, okay, we're down 23 points and we got 3 minutes to go. If we score on this drive, kick an extra point, then kick an onside kick, we're right back in it. And of course.
Yeah, no, we were never ahead.
No, we were never ahead.
And so you're always trying to scheme in your mind about how you could stay competitive. And now it's just we talked about just the culture change, and we're tough. We're normally ahead and not having to go through those machinations.
Yes, we're not having to go through those machinations. And even those big words. Well, hey, let's go ahead, Chad, and we'll take our first break. And let's see. I was told that this song plays for 40 seconds, so we can talk just a little bit while this music, the Army fight song, is going on.
35 seconds, so keep going.
Okay, so I'll keep talking. And hey, one thing, just remember Nick's Restaurante, 10300 Bailey Cove Road. That is the place to go and have a first-class meal prepared by Chef Tom, the new owner, and the great staff. Or if you want to sit in the bistro and have a cocktail and a refreshing cigar, you can do that there too. So, folks, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with Colonel Tom Hansberger, Colonel Frun from the United States Military Academy.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
Hey friends, Eli Gold here for Environmental Comfort Systems. If you're concerned about the air quality inside your home, give my friend Rick Smith a call at Environmental Comfort Systems. Their indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of indoor air contaminants. Give the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and see how comfortable you can be. Breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food from delicious starters to 50s-style diner food and meat-and-three meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. Drive-in, drive-through, carry-out, or curbside pickup with delivery coming soon through Grub South. Bubby's Diner, home of the Donut Burger.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff, your home for Army football. And we would like to mention the fact that even though we are most technologically challenged here, Chad is not, and Tom is a very good pupil, so we're up on Facebook Live right now. So if you're looking at Facebook Live, you may see us. I think there's a 7-second delay, so the audio may come out and our lips may move like a Godzilla movie, but hey, who cares? Well, Jeff, why don't you introduce our guest?
Yeah, sure. We are honored to have with us tonight Colonel Tom Hansberger, good friend of mine, former Army teammate, classmate. And the cool thing about having a cadet at the academy, I get to see some old friends who are serving our country as faculty there, and Tom is director of cadet activities, Colonel Fun. So, Tommy, welcome tonight. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing well. I appreciate the invite, and I'm a big fan of the show, so it's a pleasure to be here.
All right.
Well, hey, Colonel, we are certainly glad you are here with us and actually publicly admit to being friends with Jeff, although sometimes we do too. He and his great wife, Lisa, and all their little girls, 2 cadets, 1 golfer. Well, tell us what's happening up at West Point this week. Is there a lot of stuff going on prior to the Air Force game?
Yeah, so there is. The Corps of Cadets is incredibly fired up. This is a huge game for Army football, as everybody knows. Not only is the Commander-in-Chief trophy in the balance here, but Army needs a win. And I think everybody's tracking that. And what a better way to get a win over Air Force. So all of the Army, Air Force activities that typically occur are still going to occur. They're a little bit different because we're playing at a neutral site in Texas. So Friday before the game, the clubs, the extracurricular clubs, which are near and dear to my heart, we have 3 of them that are playing. Men's team handball is taking on Air Force. The climbing team is taking on Air Force. And then the boxing team, men and women, is taking on Air Force, all on Friday before the game.
Is that in Texas?
Correct.
Okay.
The boxing match is actually in the stadium. It's in one of the concourses. The handball and climbing are at different facilities, not in the stadium. But it should be a great event. All of them will be great events, and it'll be great to bring home some victories over Air Force.
Well, hey, let me ask you this: is there perchance the boxing is going to be streamed somehow? Because that would be a fun thing to watch.
It would. As far as I know right now, it's not. So the Texas Rangers are kind of hosting that event. If there is a stream, we'll make sure we get it out to you so you can let your viewers know, and then we'll get it out through the normal West Point and USMA social media outlets.
So, I guess you're the real Colonel Tom, as I'm the imposter now. So how are they working it with the Corps? Is the entire Corps traveling to the game? Are they flying, busing them? How are they getting there?
No, so the entire Corps can't go to the game. So similar to an Air Force when we would play at Air Force, there will be about 600 cadets though that will be there. That does include a lot of the club athletes that are going to compete, and then Saturday we'll go to the game. The cadets will get there on their own, but we did have a great relationship with American Airlines, and they gifted a lot of miles to USCC, the Corps of Cadets.
Wow.
So that it's helping to defer the costs of cadets to get to the game by using those miles, as long as they can man the aircraft to get everybody there.
Really?
Yeah.
So, Tom, having a couple daughters there, I noticed some things have changed a lot since we were there at West Point. And can you talk to us about some of the big things that you've seen, since you've come back on staff there, for some of these old grads, really old grads like these other 2 guys that I'm with here, but like just some things. I mean, I think there's a lot of goodness, right? But just some things that
It's badness.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There are a lot of things. So, West Point is the place that constantly changes but constantly stays the same. We do keep up with kind of the societal norms as much as possible, and as much as possible in keeping with the traditions and values of the United States Military Academy. So one of the biggest things that really strikes out to me is just how we help educate and train the Corps of Cadets so that they can go be leaders of soldiers in today's social and political climate. So, I mean, everyone's tracking. There's just a lot of different opinions, civil opinions across the country. You could say that there are a lot of areas of divide across the country. So how do you train and educate somebody that's going to go lead soldiers in that environment? And it's a lot of soft skills, and it's just dealing with people, understanding what their issues are, what their concerns are, and then as a leader, having the empathy to be able to understand a different perspective on any point of view, whether it's race, religion, political views, whatever those might be. And I think the Academy is doing an incredible job at preparing the cadets to be leaders in that environment. That's the biggest change that I've really noticed. And it's not just in the academic curriculum, it's in a lot of the training that happens within the Corps of Cadets.
Well, hey, Tom, one thing I noticed, I was up there a couple of weeks ago for my daughter got married at the Thayer, and every time I had come up in the past, I would just old grad it all over the place, and lo and behold, everything has got a gate on it now, and you need a swipe card. You know, I couldn't go into the old Company F2 area. No way, Jose. So I noticed that change. But let me ask you this about your job as the Colonel Fun. Who's the biggest group, the most famous group that you have booked as in your role at West Point?
Probably one of the biggest, I would say, is Riley Green, and one of the most fun. So he's a country music artist, and he came in after COVID. So, you know, we really had a big challenge. Eisenhower Hall Theater hasn't been open really for the last 3 years.
Wow.
So we went under a big maintenance construction project, and then went right from that into COVID. So during COVID, when the Corps of Cadets did finally come back, we were able to have 3 concerts for them. So the first one was Riley Green, a good country concert. The next was Wycliffe Jean of the Fugees, and then Flo Rida. We brought him in, and at some point throughout that concert, I thought I was going to lose my job. But the Cadets did great. They behaved themselves. They maintained all the proper COVID protocols, and it was a lot of fun for the Corps of Cadets. An opportunity for them to have some fun, blow off some steam, because at that point they weren't allowed to leave the installation.
Well, hey, Colonel Tom, tell us a little bit about your days when you donned the headgear and the pads with Mr. Johnson over here. I understand you were running back.
I was. So I came in my plebe year in the fall. I was actually a quarterback, which I couldn't figure out why, because I'd never really played quarterback in high school. But I kind of figured out eventually that they needed another tackling dummy. So I did that, and then in the spring of my plebe year, I played running back. And running back was a tough position at the time. So a year ahead of us was Mike Mayweather and Cal Cass. And then we had a really strong group of running backs in the class of '92 with Arlen Smith, Cal Thomas leading the pack there. So I absolutely enjoyed my time playing Army football. The brotherhood is incredibly strong. It remains alive and well. But I was mostly a special teams player and a backup running back. But I'll tell you, it was just like today. Everybody understood what their role on the team was, and they were good with that. So it was a great experience, a great opportunity. Some of the lessons learned that I carried with me throughout my Army career, I learned through playing Army football.
Well, hey, we're going to turn it over to one more special teams player, and that's long snapper Jeff Johnson for a final question, and then we'll get out of here.
Oh, I didn't realize I had another question. So I do know one thing.
You can have a comment, or you can just.
Well, hey, but I wanted Tom to share it. So there is one thing that stays the same, and I love this. When my oldest went there, Tom was he was one of the colonels. How many seconds did he give to the parents to say goodbye to their cadets or new cadets?
I think you have 90 seconds.
Yeah, 90 seconds or 60 seconds. So that was one of the things that I had the opportunity to do is the welcome brief to all of the incoming new cadets. So I was kind of the easy side of it. I kind of provided some information, what's going to happen throughout the day, what the parents can expect once they say goodbye to their cadet. And then I turned it over to a cadet, and the cadet gave them 60 seconds to say goodbye. So it was good. It was there's a lot of people at West Point at different events that came up to me and said, "Hey, you were the guy that made me say goodbye to my daughter or my son." And I'm like, "Hey, I hope everything worked out."
Well, it was an uncomfortable day for me, but it was also cool to see an old friend, at the same time. So that made it better.
So it must be some efficiency, right? And we've gotten better. It used to take us 90 seconds to say goodbye. Now we can do it in 60.
Well, probably that's my bad memory. It's been a while. But, hey, Tom, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really do appreciate your time. It's always good to get in touch with somebody who has their finger on the pulse of some things that are happening at West Point. And, Scotty, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and take our second break.
Yeah, Tom, thank you much.
Appreciate it, Tom.
Appreciate it.
All right.
See you, buddy.
Beat Air Force.
Beat Air Force.
Beat Air Force.
Beat Air Force, and that was Colonel Tom Hansbarger, the Directorate of Cadet Activities from the United States Military Academy. Colonel Fun. I know when I was there, we had Elton John, we had the Marshall Tucker Band, we had all kinds of cool concerts.
Yeah, we had Fleetwood Mac and Neil Young.
I'm not even going who we had because it just makes you feel old, right? So.
Okay, well, then you don't have to say a thing. So, folks, give us a few minutes and we'll be back with Conrad Crane, blogger extraordinaire for Army football.
Want to try something different for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Then why not head on over to City Cafe Diner? They have the largest menu in the area with traditional breakfast like pancakes and omelets, comfort foods like burgers and shakes, and specialty items like homemade Greek delicacies. And their entire menu is served any time of day. So make plans to dine with City Cafe Diner today, just west of the Parkway at 2003 Drake Avenue. City Cafe Diner, where no one leaves hungry. Alabama Sports Officials Foundation encourages everyone to sign up with the Alabama High School Athletic Association and your local Parks and Recreation Department to officiate all sports. There is a tremendous need for officials. Games are being canceled due to the shortage of officials. Give back to the sport you love through officiating so your kids can play. Earn some extra cash for Christmas or any other needs you have. Game pay on a per-hour basis goes way beyond most part-time jobs. You too can be a part of the game.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourself. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Switching season is here at WOW. Get gig speed internet for just $64.99 a month at wowway.com. Plus, get a year of HBO Max included and $300 on us. Wow. After the promotional period, HBO Max will auto-renew at then prevailing rate. Limited to new customers with auto pay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Hello, this is Kerry Rosenblum Realty, and we're part of that MA family. It's great to see football season back in. And, we're at Rosenblum Realty trying to take care of all your real estate needs, whether home buying or selling. We'd like for you to put our 64 years of experience to work for you. We have 4-generation family ownership, and again, take a personal touch to taking care of your real estate needs. Call us at 256-539-9501 or rosenblumrealty.com.
Your home for the best coverage of football anywhere.
See, now this is a football. I want you to carry this with you always. Never let it out of your sight.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second half of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff, brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage, northalabamamortgage.com. You need some money? They got it. They can help you through anything you need. And we're joined right now by Conrad Crane, blogger extraordinaire. You can, if you ever happen to watch the History Channel or any military thing, you will oftentimes see a younger Conrad there doing some narration on his expertise, and also can find him on some of the NFL film stuff, talking about the invention of the forward pass at West Point. And Conrad does a weekly blog for Army football. Conrad, how you doing?
I'm all fired up for Saturday. It's going to be a big one. It's Army Air Force is a little different kind of rivalry. I mean, this is, there's not a whole lot of jointness in Army Air Force. Army Navy has got a certain amount of gentility and mutual respect there. It seems like the Army Air Force is more like Eagles Cowboys in the way of the intensity of it.
I think you nailed that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's your stepbrother versus your brother, right? I mean, it's just like, bam.
Well,
yeah.
You know, we've had quite a few ex-football players who have said that is a, like you said, Navy is like a civil war, but this is where people are gouging and scratching and spitting on one another. But before we jump into the Air Force, just real quick, any takeaway you want to mention about the Wake Forest game?
Well, the point I made in the blog this time was I've never seen a game where the disparity in athletic talent was so obvious in the skill positions. I mean, Wake Forest's skilled people were just better than we just couldn't deal with them. But yet, we still stayed in that game. I mean, it's a tribute, I think, to Monken and the system we have set up, that even against a team with the caliber of talent that Wake Forest has and Wisconsin has, we can stay with them. If the system is working. Against Wisconsin, the offense wasn't working, but the defense kept us in. Against Wake Forest, the defense was completely overmatched, but the offense kept us in. I mean, I think it's a tribute to the system that we can stay with teams like this. I mean, it's really a team effort. But again, I just thought, I mean, Wake Forest I was amazed at Hartman and offense. I mean, those guys are just very talented. They're going to give a lot of people trouble, but we stayed with them. I mean, it was a crazy game. I mean, 18 touchdowns. Holy croak! Yes,
that's a season's worth.
Wow. Yeah, my granddaughter was at the game, and she only made it for about 16 touchdowns before she crapped out.
So, Conrad, as we're looking forward, what would you say are your one or two keys to the game for Army?
Well, against the Air Force,
yeah.
Well, I started out and I tried to compare last year to this year, and it seems to me that this year Air Force's offense is about the same. Their defense is a little better because they got all those guys who kind of sat out for COVID, so their defense is tougher. On the Army side, I think our offense is better than last year. I think that the coaches have got I haven't heard any news on who the starting quarterback is going to be, but if it's Anderson, that's fine. I think the coaches have figured out the Tyler Law's balance to juggle those guys. I'm confident they can keep the pressure on. So, but I think both teams have kind of improved about the same. It's going to be another war. It's going to be, we got to avoid them. Air Force lost to San Diego State because they had turnovers. A couple turnovers killed them. We got to win the turnover battle. We got to avoid them ourselves. We got to make Air Force get a couple from Air Force. I think that's a key. Can't give up the big play. I think our defense is we can bend but not break enough. If we can avoid the big play, I think the defense is good against the run. We got to avoid the big play and win the turnover battle. I think those are the two things that strike me right now.
Well, Conrad, you talk about an evenly matched game. Vegas thinks it's even. I think the current line now is we're a 1.5-point underdog. ESPN has given us a 55% chance to win the game. But, wow. Just some interesting stuff. They're the number 1 rushing team in the country. We're number 2. This is not that good, but we're the number 128th team in passing in the country, and they're 129. So this is going to be an evenly matched game. But one thing to comment on, a question actually, is my takeaway from the Wake Forest game was all of a sudden it looked like Army had become a triple option team again. We had the slot backs involved. It wasn't just the quarterback tucking it under his arm and running around the end, or the fullback up the middle. We had a pretty varied offense in that game. Did you agree with that assessment, or am I just watching the wrong game?
My initial reaction was, what'd they do with Brent Davis? I mean, all of a sudden our play calling was much more imaginative. They tried a couple different things. They were running the pitch, but cutting the slot back off the tackle. They ran a reverse. They did. I mean, I was very impressed with the more innovative nature of the offense, and that definitely showed. And hopefully they keep it up. But I was kind of hoping to see that all year, but it did show up against Wake Forest. It was more than just a triple. I mean, they were doing all kinds of neat little tricks. I thought it was very, even the pass plays they were running. I mean, Laws throws for 3 TD passes. That's the most in 15 years or something like that for an Army quarterback. I mean, it was really that might not be 15, maybe 5 or 6. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but anyway, it was a phenomenal performance all around. Offense was, I mean, it was. I hope they're on that roll again this week. That Air Force, again, you talk about similarities. I mean, Air Force and Army are both very strong defenses against the run, so it's going to take you're going to take some innovation again to kind of crack that.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to ask you about, Conrad. What's a bigger concern to you, that their ability to stop the run or their ability to run the football at Air Force?
Their ability to stop the run because I think both teams can stop the run. I think it is if either team can establish the fullback, then that's going to give them a real big advantage. I think it goes down to if we can be as innovative in our play calling this week as we were against Wake Forest, I think it'll go a long way to breaking that potential stalemate.
Well, Air Force has a huge winning record against us. I think it's 37-17-1. So, but the last 4 years, we've won 3 out of the last 4 under the great coach Jeff Monken. And one thing, just for what it's worth, the ODIA Office of the Directorate of Intercollegiate Athletics released the depth chart today, and the depth chart has 2 starting quarterbacks, Christian Anderson and Tyler Tyler. And I tend to agree with your assessment. I think the Tyler-Jabari Laws combination sure enough has worked pretty good recently. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. And before the time gets – I know you hate it when I ask you this, but I don't care. I'm going to ask you anyway. Can you give us a prediction? You don't have to give a score. Just who do you think is going to win?
I mean, it goes back to turnovers and big plays. I mean, whoever can – avoid the turnovers, get the big plays. I mean, one of the things, you go back to that big Air Force edge, that 37-17 edge. Looking from a historical standpoint, looking at Army Air Force games, historically what Air Force would do was play very conservative and wait for Army to make mistakes. And Army always made more mistakes than they did, and that's why they built up that big edge. We got to avoid that this time. That general comment would be the team that makes the fewest mistakes is going to win.
So would you, that does kind of go against the idea of a more aggressive play calling, right? I mean, if you follow that philosophy.
Well, there's a difference between being aggressive and taking risks. I mean, it's a fine line, but that's what we got to kind of walk that fine line. We're going to have to break out of our comfort pattern to some extent and be innovative. But again, you can do that without taking risks.
Yeah, no, bold and audacious. I'm good with that.
Bold and audacious and aggressive. Like Conrad, do you think that you think the game being in Dallas favors one or the other team, or does it make any difference?
We seem to do pretty good in Texas. I think there's a lot of Army guys with Texas roots. So I think in some ways that helps to some extent, and it's there's a lot of Army people down there too. I think it's kind of a wash. Obviously, it's a road game for both teams. So Air Force has a better road record than we do, but I still think it's going to be kind of a wash.
All right. Well, hey, being the fact that you're a historian, the category now is uniform history, and you're going to say, Alex, I will take uniform history for $1,000. And you should know this. Who designed the Air Force Academy's parade uniforms that they use to this day?
Some Hollywood designer. I have no idea.
Well, you're.
No, I give him half credit.
I'll give you half. Cecil B. DeMille designed those in 1954. So, yeah, he designed them in 1954, and they still use them to this day. Maybe.
I thought you were going to go with asking him about the black helmets.
No, yeah. Any unlucky uniform stuff going on this weekend?
I haven't heard, but you know how I feel about black helmets. I won't go down that road.
Hey, we took it to Air Force with the black helmet, so that we're going to be okay.
Wasn't that the Ahmad Rashad 264-yard rushing game? All right, well, hey, Con, thank you for your time. We always appreciate it. And, Scotty, we'll go ahead and take a break, and we'll get that
Conrad.
music
Really
started.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Conrad.
Hey, beat Air Force.
Beat Air Force. Hey, we'll go out with a trivia question. Somebody call at 256-576-4977 if you can answer it. What is the name of the Air Force Falcons mascot? It's never changed. It's been the same name from 59 on.
Bob.
So, if you know the name of that mascot, give us a call, 256-576-4977. Damn near forgot that number, but hey, sometimes I can pull it out. All right, folks, we'll be back for the last 15 minutes of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff to talk a little bit more about this Air Force game, because it's a big one.
Yeah.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-free meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. Drive-in, drive-through, carry-out, or curbside pickup with delivery coming soon through Grub South. Bubby's Diner, home of the Donut Burger.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Eating the last slice of pumpkin pie? Power move. Buying your own gifts? Power move. Switching to crazy fast gig speed internet from WOW? Power move. Get the speeds you need with gig speed internet for just $64.99 a month. Plus, get a year of HBO Max included and $300 on us. Sign up at wowway.com today. After the promotional period, HBO Max will auto-renew at then prevailing rate. Limited to new customers with auto-pay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. Scattered showers are going to be possible. Temperatures really fail to warm up. Highs only hanging out in the mid and upper 40s. Some of us could see the lower 50s, but just in general, it's going to be a really cool kind of a gross Wednesday across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures falling into the upper 30s and lower 40s as we head into the overnight. A couple of scattered showers are going to be possible on Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Eli Gold of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. A new contract and expanded playoffs with the same results. Listen to Alabama football on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody, to the final segment of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff, brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage at northalabamamortgage.com, and also by Nick's Restaurante and Higher Echelon. And so if you want to get smart, go to Higher Echelon. If you want to get a good mortgage, go to northalabamamortgage.com and celebrate the whole things with a cocktail and a steak down at Nick's. That's what I like to do, but Nick's is just a great place. We go there all the time. And so we're here today to wrap up our discussion about the game this weekend against the United States Air Force Academy. And by the way, you guys, if Air Force wins, that's it for the Commander-in-Chief's trophy because they've already beat Navy. So we certainly have a little added motivation to do that. But we have a caller standing by. Barrett, go ahead.
Hi, yeah, go Army.
Barrett Crawford.
Hey, I wanted to take a guess at what the Air Force mascot was, and I believe it was called the Pigeon of War.
Where in the hell did you get that? No,
it's not a pigeon, I guess. No.
No, it's not called the Pigeon of War. So, and in fact, that's the most pathetic guess I've heard at all.
Well, didn't we hurt the Falcon one year, a couple years ago?
The Falcon, actually, we didn't hurt it, but the Falcon got away. It just took off. It didn't come back to the guy who was holding the bait down on the field, and they had to launch the team out to find it, and they found it in sitting on somebody's roof, and they.
But I thought we stole it and hurt a wing or something.
No, that's right. We did steal the Falcon a couple of years ago, and
Barrett might have been there.
Yeah,
Barrett might have done it.
Did you do that, Barrett? You remember anything about that?
I wasn't on the committee of. I wasn't on that committee when they planned that.
I can neither confirm nor deny my involvement.
By the way, there's a great book called Spirit Mission. If anybody, it's about stealing the goat back when I was there, and it's very, very accurate because we stole the goat. I didn't, but somebody.
All right, Barrett, since you blew the trivia question so bad, give us a pick. I know you're going to be down there at the game with all your F2 buddies, so give me a pick, son.
So I think it's going to be Army. I think it's going to be Army 28, Air Force 14. I think Army's going to come out, and I honestly think Army's going to come out with a pass, just like they did with Wake Forest, where the receiver caught it with one hand. I think they're going to come out with a pass to start the game out and get an 80-yard touchdown.
Hey,
I like the way you think, Barrett.
I like the way you think. By the way, the name of the Air Force Falcon mascot is called Mach 1. It's always been.
It looks like a pigeon.
Well,
yeah, I like the what did you call it?
The Pigeon of War.
Yeah, I like the Pigeon of War. That's a better name for the Air Force Falcon.
All right, the Pigeon of War. He just got a new name. So, hey, you take care and good luck and have a good time down there.
And look us up, Barrett. We're going to the game, too.
Beat Air Force.
Right.
Yeah, they won't be drawing a sober breath, I don't think. But that's neither here nor there.
You're assuming we will.
Well,
he just got back from deployment, man. He's living up.
He needs to live it up. That's exactly right. Well, the Air Force Academy, they do average 29 points a game. They're number one in the country with 318.4 rushing yards a game. They do well in time of possession, 36 minutes a game. So there's a lot. They've got also a couple of running backs average 4, 5, 6 yards a carry. It's gonna be an evenly matched game, and we're gonna have our hands full.
I got another stat that's interesting too. That they're +5. We're dead even. 6 giveaways, 6 takeaways. They're +5 in the turnover margin.
Is that good or bad?
They're they're a little bit ahead of us on that. So we're gonna even that up for them and us this game.
One would hope that we do. What do you think, Tom? You're a Tehican. Any advantage to playing in Texas for either team, or you think
well, number one, I think that Army travels exceptionally well. I think at least the last I heard, Air Force was having a problem selling their tickets. Army is not. I think the crowd will be more pro-Army than Air Force, and I think that what Conrad said. I mean, we've had great luck in Texas.
Yeah.
We've gone down there. We've played well. We're used to that trip. I think it bodes. I think the neutral site works more for us than it does.
That'll be interesting to see how the crowd is out there at the stadium, and I know we recruit heavily in Texas, but they do as well.
Well, I think the last game I recall us playing in Texas was playing Houston in a bowl game, and we hung 70 points on them. And so, yeah, I agree. Texas is a good, happy hunting ground for the Army Black Knights.
2 years ago we played UTSA. Kate Ballard started.
Yeah. And hey, anytime we don't have to be at 7,000 feet or something, granted, I mean, I was a long snapper. I was small, but I was slow. I just remember in warm-ups.
Well, that's a good description of a successful football player. I was small and I was slow.
But we were, I
Did
mean,
you ever
just
see
in
the
warm-ups.
playing field?
At warm-ups, when we beat Navy when I was there, we didn't punt once. But I remember just going through the warm-ups at Air Force, and I'm doubled over, gassed.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: who do you guys? Is there a coaching edge in this game? I mean, Troy Calhoun he's been there a long time.
I can't believe you just asked that question.
Well, I'm just asking you guys. I'm generating conversation. I'll tell you this right now. I think the coaching edge goes to us. I think Monken is a much better of a intense football coach than Mr. Air Force man Calhoun.
Yeah, I mean, I think Calhoun's philosophy, the way he coaches, works well with the type of guys they recruit at Air Force, which would not work well at Army. I think that that tough discipline, what Conrad was talking about, it's a team game, and I think we bring a better team in all aspects to Dallas than Air Force does. Well, I'm not sure where it's going to show. Maybe in special teams, maybe, I don't know. But I think we have a better team than Air Force.
Well, Tom, I think you've been saying we're going to get a punt return or a kickoff return for a touchdown. It's going to happen. And, when you talk about the mentality of the Air Force, I know the old joke is, when the Air Force shows up on a deployed place, the first thing they do is build an officers club, and the Army builds a gym. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, I love that. We talked about it earlier, but there's just an edge in this rivalry, and there's the coaches would never admit it, obviously, but there's something going on with those two, right? That there's no love lost.
I mean, remember back last year when they and I think our story is they used COVID as an excuse to try and get out of the game, and it ended up that we said, Jeff Monken was saying, we'll play anytime, anywhere.
On the parking lot.
And so we ended up bringing them back after Navy, the week after Navy.
And beat them.
Yeah, no.
We will play them on the beaches. We will fight them in the streets. We will never surrender. That's my Winston Churchill imitation in honor of my dachshund Winston. So, guys, as usual, the biggest enemy of a sports talk radio show is the clock. So let's go around the horn.
And talent.
And talent. Well, hey, that's always an enemy. Jeff Johnson, long snapper extraordinaire, slow and small football player. Give me your prediction for this weekend.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another backyard brawl. I think obviously we're going to be on top at the end of the day, 17-13.
Wow, yeah, no, I think it's a brawl. I'd love to see us blow them out, but I think Army 21-17.
Well, the interesting thing to me is, if you look at the Vegas line, the over and under is 30, and we got two teams that average 30 points a game almost. I think we average over 30, and but I don't think it's gonna go much over 30. This has always been a slugfest, a hard-fought game. I think it's going to be low scoring, and I do believe that our field goal kicker is going to be big in this game and may actually be the difference. And I'm going to say, let's see if I can think up a number that is with 3. I think we're going to win 21-18. How about that?
There we go.
So, hey, folks, we do appreciate you listening to us tonight. We hope you've enjoyed it on Facebook. Hello, Facebook Live people. If you're friend the show on Facebook, Steve Cripey does a great job with our Facebook page. Go ahead and let everybody know about it. Tell them that's your one-stop shop for everything Army athletics. It's a great place to be. And we will be back here next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And hopefully we'll be talking about a victory. And, Scotty, we'll go ahead and get out of here. Tom, how many days?
Bill, there's 38 and a butt days until Army beats the hell out of Navy at Met Field in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Hey, bingo, you got it right. Put on the spot and you won. Hey, folks, remember this. As we always say, no matter where you are and no matter what you're doing, there is a soldier somewhere right now in a nasty place standing a watch for you so you can enjoy the life you live in this great country of ours. And, Scotty, thanks for doing a great job tonight. Look forward to doing it with you again. And, folks, we're out of here. We'll talk to you next. Go Army.
Beat Navy.
Beat Air Force.
Beat Air Force and beat Navy. This is Crawdad. I'm out.
The Second City is ready. Are you ready? Bears, Steelers, Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Hey, it's Greeny, and there couldn't be more going on in the National Football League. We will have the very latest on the Aaron Rodgers situation and all the other enormous NFL stories. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
Saturday on College Football on ESPN Radio. It's a Big 12 showdown in Ames, Iowa.
30, 25, gone, all gas now, worthy to the end zone. Touchdown, Texas.
The Texas Longhorns, the nation's 10th ranked scoring offense, averaging over 39 points per game.